Good evening, Randomania. I am one of your hosts, June Bobby, and I am joined here in the booth by Ro64, presenting for your entertainment tonight a Spring Tournament 2021 round of 64 race between two amazing runners. We have Syraniss coming in hot off a 3-0 sweep in the pod rounds, while dem0nfr0g clawed back from the abyss by claiming a spot in the last chance play-in race this past weekend. Don't let the pod records fool you, however. The bracket round includes increased encounters, a malice on our light warriors, no bridge to guide our runners through a more traditional path in the early game, and one of our most polarizing flags this round, Monster in a Box. Rock solid. How are you doing tonight, and what do you think of all that?
Yeah, well, I'm doing pretty good, and I'll have to tell you, having practiced these seeds, it really is a bit of a steep increase in difficulty when you go from pod flags to what we've got here. You alluded to the monster in a box. That's the big controversial theme of this tournament. We've never seen this before. There's a chance that when you go to open in a box, there might be monsters in there, and they're not scaled to the dungeon you're in. So you could come across that Gershark Wizahag pack right away in Topher.
Right, and so one of the really important things also that I forgot to mention there was that runners are starting with a random assortment of items in their bag already. So we're hoping to see a couple of tents in there so that in case they encounter some of those monsters in a box early on in those checks, we can hopefully not have a full reset.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a sort of a quality of life improvement, or something, just a little bit of candy that the devs gave us to say, okay, well, it's not all horrible. Here are some free tents, maybe, but you could start off with 16 heals and 4 softs, and it's not particularly helpful.
No, and so we have the party's up on the screen now. Double black belt, white mage, red mage. Rock solid, you want to hit those bonuses and malices so folks know what we're in for tonight?
Yes, I will. And what you're going to notice about these is that they're not particularly helpful to our runners as they get jumped off the board. I'll just rattle it off quickly. We've got the plus 10% hit to the black belt, but minus 5 luck. That's less running. The white mage has got a little bit of extra vitality, but a minus 22 HP. The red mage has a bonus to HP, but a minus 10 to luck. So not much running going on here.
But boy, they don't seem to need to run. We've got Fade at level 1. We've got Zap, Temper. This is looking like it's going to be a fast seed. Exit also helping us out of dungeons real quick.
Yeah, no, having Fade and Exit right off the jump like that, 1 to 2 casters depending on what slots they fell in, and we've got Temper and Bracket Zap. This is a very nice start for Magic.
Checking the armor shop, nothing much going on there. dem0nfr0g already on the way to Topher, or Toph, I suppose. We're not revisiting it yet.
Yeah, no, minor difference, but we're going to see the runners are getting about Syraniss here. Looks to be doing a bit of encounter manipulation. Gets almost all the way to the dungeon, but they're both facing that same Mad Pony. So it looks like a half-decent run off the power cycle. dem0nfr0g resetting out of the Mad Pony. Syraniss, however, winning the battle, dropping the tent, probably going to do a hard reset here and get at least one item check before anything else happens.
I didn't catch it. Looks like a really good shield that nobody is probably going to be able to use.
Yeah, that was Iron plus 3. Unfortunately, none of them will be able to use it, and it's not going to sell for very much. So Syraniss just resets right out of it, uses that long run again, getting almost all the way to those 2 boxes. Let's see if one of these turns out to be Monster in a Box.
So at this stage in the game, I'm not actually too concerned with a Monster in a Box having that Fade. Almost welcome it, right? Not going to get as much experience off an Ooze Arachnid pack, but it'll give them a little bit of a jump start.
Yeah, exactly. With a high-quality sweeper like Fade, there's a lot of encounters that will just be free experience. Unfortunately, it looks like the red mage doesn't have access to that Fade. We pull out a giant plus 2 in a cabin, so not a whole lot of stuff in here, and Syraniss is taking advantage of that exit. Gonna hope that that one Fade shot's gonna be enough to take down Garland.
And we've got a Brack charge on the red mage just in case. Doesn't seem to want to use it. Fade will take out Garland, and let's go see what our first key items are. A key item, and Sarah's got a floater for us. So if we thought the seed was fast, it's about to get Whiplash fast.
This seed is the dream. You were talking about the key before we even got started with this broadcast. But to get the key and the floater off the bat like that, you've got Fade, you've got Exit, you've got a black belt. We are going to look at some blazing fast seeds here.
So I'm I'm curious where each of our runners goes. I mean, immediately off the key, Corneria is the obvious choice here. Check these treasures. Don't forget we have monsters in a box, even in what would otherwise be safe zones. But I'm curious if they're going to be hunting for those key items right away, or with a key, Northwest Castle seems like a really good idea. Just check those trap tiles early on, maybe get the black belt started.
Right. Obviously, your first priority is going to be the Corneria lock because you're right here. You're going to get some gear. You're going to maybe get some fights, fade them down. After that, you're probably going to make a beeline to the floater because you've got the airship. We just found the canal, so we know either sea either marsh or ice is a dud, but we don't know which yet. However, we can get in that ship and we can start checking some of those trap tiles that you talked about, like Northwest Castle. We can start checking Sarda items. There's going to be so many options, and we're probably going to see some route divergence right off the bat.
Right, and I just want to point out that even though we know that one of them must be a dud, that doesn't exclude the other one from also being a dud. The ruby could still be trapped in marsh or ice also, so could be. Or in this party, I'm not sure they're looking for a tail early on either.
No, especially with the magic that they've got. I mean, they've already got Fade, Exit, and Temper. The only other thing that you might want at this point is Fast, maybe Invis 2. But with a Black Belt party, Invis 2 is not as important. Neither is Fast, to be quite honest.
So it seems like Syraniss is taking fights along the way, not trying to do the run, not trying to do encounter manipulation. Probably getting a couple levels here isn't a bad idea. Maybe get some spell charges that when we get down to Elfland, it's meaningful to go buy some early spells there.
Yeah, the Common Wisdom, and I'm going to credit Jet for this one, Jet2980, that you are going to want to take fights in the Inner Sea until you're somewhere between level 6 and 10. With Fade, you might as well just drop it on those 2 ogres. You're going to get some money. You're going to get some levels. After you get to that sort of level, 8-ish point, you start to see the law of diminishing returns. Syraniss picking up a dragon armor, that's not going to be useful, but we can sell it for money.
Skipping the Northwest Castle check here. Don't blame him. The floater is going to be clearly the more valuable tool here.
Yeah, can't fault the decision making yet. Both of these runners following very similar paths. dem0nfr0g going left around Northwest Castle, maybe going to go for Marsh, but I would be surprised at that. Syraniss seems to have the lead. I mean, at this point, it's a foot race to the floater.
Interesting call by Syraniss, just recharging the party, not stocking up on save items. dem0nfr0g making the play to Northwest Castle, going to probably check the treasures first, then step on the tiles, I would imagine. So we have a heal potion, some gold, and some more gold. So nothing major there. 2 fires. I don't know that we can tell if it's A-sides or B-sides from that. It's looking like A-sides, though.
Actually, I'm not sure about that. There is a 1 fire tile in Volcano at the top. I'm not aware of there being a 2. Although chat is calling out, Chadbert and Gregory Buff both saying A side.
I think waters on the B side have between 3 and 5. So seeing 2 waters in a single tile, I think confirms A sides for us.
Okay, I would agree with that. dem0nfr0g is checking, is this the Elfland Armory as well? Just looking to take advantage of that key, but Syraniss is trying to extend the lead, picking up the power bonk at Sages, and gonna head up to Bicky next. I like this move.
Yeah, definitely. I like seeing an early power gauntlet too. No, we get it out of the way. I know we have Temper as a spell cast on that red, but always useful to have, just sort of as a backup plan.
Yeah, you don't hate to see the power bonk in really any type of situation. It's going to increase the damage that either of your melee dealers is going to do. It's not progression, but it is useful. Syraniss fading down the pirates. We're going to see what Bicky's holding on to in just a moment.
The ruby. Okay, so now we know Marsh or Ice is probably a in play big time. And just another part of the metagame behind getting that power gauntlet off the sage. We now know that Monster in a Box isn't going to be trapping that as a key item. So one fewer things that we need to fill up our inventory to find out if a Monster in a Box is hiding.
I wanted to talk about that, but I didn't know how to explain it. You just broke it down perfectly, Shoom Bobby. Excellent work. Here we are in level 2 magic. Looks like there's not much there. Let's see what the black magic holds.
Fire 3, always a welcome addition. Takes out some slimes, takes out some Gurmedusas if we can find that. We have seen the canal in Corneria locked. We got the key off of the king, and then instantly turned into a canal, but we got the floater off Sarah, so we haven't needed to see the ship. So we know that one of marsh or ice is likely going to be the ship, but the other one is probably in play.
Yeah, and because there are still items that could be considered duds, I'm not going to check one of those unless I think it's the fastest check I've got available. Syraniss is continuing to do flying around, gets the crown. This I like, and we're going to see what Assos is holding on to in just a moment.
The cube. So once we have Chime, we know we can do a full dive into Sky if we really want to, although most runners are probably going to opt for going to Ordeals, going to Waterfall first, maybe making the shop checks. Just try to get some key items out of the way, so that way we don't want to really be diving Sea or Sky here, especially with a Black Belt party.
Yeah, just cleaning up in chat, Syraniss did check the sages and got whatever was there. I think
the power gauntlet.
The power gauntlet. And yeah, to your point about, I mean, we're already talking about Ordeals. We're already talking about Waterfall at this point. I would like to see some more levels. dem0nfr0g looks to be heading to Ice Cave now, or hasn't done Provoke it yet.
Gonna get the bad news that Bicky's holding a Ruby, but maybe stock up on a couple of spells.
Yeah, in Crescent Lake, I think we saw a wall for sale in slot 1, so that's something that could be useful later on, but with a Black Belt party, it's not as important. Maybe we saw Invis 2 in slot 2. I don't know if anybody else saw that. dem0nfr0g was in and out pretty quickly.
So I like that Syraniss is trying for these waters. It's unfortunate that not going to be able to kill them, but does get out with this really poorly running party. Does get away from those waters.
Yeah,
tries to res at Melmond. That's not going to work.
Yeah, it takes a second at Melman before realizing there's no clinic there. Heading back to Corneria with the airship, this isn't a big time loss. Looks like Syraniss is setting up to maybe check those earth tiles next.
I'd like to see them get a couple of houses or scout out the shop item. That is definitely an earth check. Not going to be diving it without a rod, so no key items, just simply looking for grind tiles here.
Yeah, and I think this is maybe a consequence of being used to getting out of the inner sea with just the ship. In a situation where you've got the airship, I, like you, would probably want to find some more items to maximize my grind when I find it. But take a look at this. Syraniss is finding metal slimes, does have fire 3, so we'll be able to get up to functional levels at least. I mean, this is not an endgame grind, but you could get up to level 12 or 16, no problem here.
Right, I'm definitely taking the slime grind here because that's probably one of the best party grind tiles for A-sides, despite the fact that slimes never actually show up in the vanilla game on a tile.
Yeah, and that's one that always used to throw me. I'd see the slimes and I'd think, oh, it must be on B-sides now. No, they do show up on A-sides for some reason, and if anybody knows about the inner workings of the game, by all means drop it in chat here. I mean, why do you have extra fights that never show up in the game? I'd love to know more about that. But at any rate, both of the runners took a little bit of those slimes. Syraniss, unfortunately, losing the black belt, is going to have to go back and res that up.
Now, with these levels, I'm looking forward to either continuing the progression quest, right? We're going to Ordeals, we're going to Waterfall, we're checking shops in the Northern Continent, or I'm not opposed to them checking what's off the hard reset in the desert. You have enough levels behind you, you've got Fade, you might be able to take a couple of dinosaurs, and once you take a couple of them, the black belt's going to be up and running in no time. So, a lot of options here. We're going to hopefully see some real divergence now.
Yeah, a lot of talk about black belts in particular and the desert grind in particular right now happening in the community. This is one of the things that a lot of people who are running black belts are doing that are giving them an early advantage, is getting down to that desert, checking those 4 different encounter zones, and looking for either 2 sandworms or a solo T-Rex fight. It can be really useful. Of course, you've got to have the ability to take them down in the first place, which they do. Like you said, they've got that fade. And there's actually nuke for sale here at level 3 black magic as well. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good play. I don't know if I would go out of my way to do it because I can keep moving ahead without doing the grind just yet.
So counterpoint to that might be that even though we can move ahead on progression, we're not running away from most battles. So if you're not confident on resources on these mages and getting us through the dungeons, sometimes if you can't run, you just make them run. Get yourself high enough and hope for the best. But again, that's just a difference in philosophy, I think. Like, we'll see how both of these runners handle it. I know dem0nfr0g is a huge fan, based on the play-in race, of getting up those levels really early on, even in a suboptimal position. Syraniss I haven't been privy to as much.
Yeah, I would agree with you on a couple of things. First of all, dem0nfr0g, I know dem0nfr0g's playstyle is very conscious of those first couple of encounters off the power cycle. And so dem0nfr0g is probably going to try to take advantage of something like that. I just want to take a second, though, and point out, as Chad is saying, the magic continues to give. We've got fast at 4. We've got life 2 at 5. We can cast that with our white mage. We can cast the fast with our red mage. We've got absolutely everything, including cheap houses. And Syraniss is continuing on, looks to be continuing to prioritize items. Maybe dem0nfr0g's going to go check the desert now.
dem0nfr0g heading back to Crescent for a moment. Not sure what we missed there. I guess some potions?
Yeah, could be looking for tents as well. That's something that you need to have if you're going to be taking an overworld grind. Tents or cabins.
Right. Gregley, I assume you are referring to the fact that Syraniss didn't land on the caravan tile in the run, or are you questioning the waterfall play on this one?
Yeah, and while we wait for Gregley Puff on this, I just want to say I don't like this play by dem0nfr0g. He's going into Ice Cave. Probably is thinking about grind tiles more than the item, but this could be a dud, and there could be punishing enemies in here. He still doesn't really have very high levels.
Right, that was my first thought. If he's in Ice, he's looking for one of, how many tiles do we have? 1, 2 on
5.
the top level, 3. Yep, that's 5 tiles. That's a good chance at finding something you want, but we're on A sides. I don't know that anything you find here is something that you're really gonna want, because none of these, one of them is a safe grind, really. Didn't land on the caravan tile, and I'll tell you why based on what I saw. Syraniss saved on the where you land the airship to actually get to Onrak, so that way could just do a hard reset or even a soft reset off of not finding the key item in the caravan. I know at that point you just land in the caravan and then pick yourself back up if you don't find the item. It's probably 6 of one, half dozen of another.
Yeah, so chat is talking about problems that dem0nfr0g is having, a controller issue. I'm not seeing that. It looks like dem0nfr0g's still continuing from what I can see.
So everything hitting pretty hard early on. Not a lot of levels here. Looks pretty bad. Ooh, that's not the color palette we want to see on that sprite. The Phantom hitting hard, not giving you really anything, and we find the ship. It is duds all around for dem0nfr0g, unfortunately.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about before. Either marsh or ice. When you've got the early floater, you know that the ship and the canal have to be in the inner sea. So there's a really good chance that one of them is going to be in these dungeons. But as you can see, Demon Frog is continuing. So wasn't really here for the item, is instead looking for a grind on the black belt. And yeah, I don't like grinding down here in Ice Cave. Demon Frog's more experienced than me, maybe feels more comfortable coming down here. But yeah, it's risky. And without access to exit, you're even if you find a grind, you're going to have to keep your white mage up in order to use it.
So Syraniss finds a tile in Waterfall, by the way, getting the robot, giving the rod here. Finds the zombie D tile, first step into the robot room. And now some Agamas and a monster in a box. So looking good on levels here. I'm curious if Syraniss is going to take a couple of fights with the zombie dragon.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Syraniss has access to exit and can easily just blow all the fade charges he's got, get some easy levels here. It's going to help with Kraken if we're going there next. I would go for it if you've got 1 or 2 zombie Ds on A sides.
Got to make sure it doesn't use up all the spell charges for exit there.
Yeah, Fire 3 putting in some work on these undead zombie dragons. We've got Nuka, you even got Harm 4, but we just blew all of our exit charges. You were talking about that. We're going to have to walk this one out. Oh, never mind. Red Mage had
it.
We forgot. Fade and exit at level 1, right magic.
So without the Oxyel, this is really just an item shop check. Maybe look at some spells just to confirm something's there, but I think we've seen pretty much everything that we need to see in this seed. Right, you have a black belt party. You're not too concerned about getting too many spells off besides Fast and Temper, and we've got them.
Yeah, exactly. It's just heal pot management at this point. You do have to keep those high if you're going to be taking a grind somewhere. Syraniss is probably thinking about that right now, but still hasn't really found too much that's handy. I would like to see some of these power cycle checks right around now, but Syraniss continuing to item hunt, which is actually better, because with more items in hand, you're going to be getting more experience per fight.
It is pretty marginal. I think it's a 5% increase per item, but since we're going to be in this corner of the world, doing the Gaia check here is totally valid. TNT, though, sending you to the other end of the world. Unfortunate. I usually love it when the fairy's in the bottle in Gaia. It's like, why couldn't you just drop her back off in the little pond? Seems rude.
It's a little bit cruel and unusual, but Syraniss continuing into ordeals instead of flying back and checking the TNT. Would you do this? Would you take a dungeon over a flight?
So we know that marsh or ice is definitely a dud. We're already in this portion of the world. So I think proximity and the fact that we're pretty comfortably getting through ordeals at this point. You got how many boxes? Something like 12 boxes in? No, that seems like too many. You got a couple of boxes in ordeals. It might be worth checking just to kit out the rest of the party. Maybe you find a ribbon, maybe you find your defense sword. You're almost definitely getting a key item that's meaningful here. And if you're not, you assume your opponent's going to be doing this too. Demon Frog with the big brains, skipping Marsh Top and finding the crystal in the linked chest.
Yeah, the bottom first strategy has been getting a lot of love from the community recently, and the item seems to be falling in that link chest an awful lot. I like the play by Demon Frog. He's already ruled out the fact that, I mean, he was in ice and found the dud there, so Marsh has got to have something. Marsh is a quick, easy check and gets rewarded with an inner sea item check, so this is going to be good. You know, it's going to get closer to that go mode. It's going to get more of those experience items, and checking a few boxes here on Matoya to boot.
Ooh, feels a little bad right now, but it might be worthwhile if there's something that seems promotion locked, armor-wise, I guess. No, does a red wizard ever actually gain armor there?
Yeah, nothing, as far as I'm aware, nothing particularly useful.
So white shirt perhaps on the white wizard, but that's also one of those things that they're not going to be thrilled to find. So, womp womp. But
Yeah.
taking a sandworm here, making up for the lost time.
Yeah, and this is actually really good because I think dem0nfr0g is checking power cycle grinds now and has found the 1 to 2 sandworms right here. You instantly see him reorganizing the party, gonna kill off the other characters and take this nice safe grind. We're gonna see that black belt get swole.
I would like to see somebody do it in the actual desert, so that way we can check 4 encounter zones at the same time. You can start to play ping pong around what happens in the second encounter, because it doesn't seem like too far off the first one. But with a sandworm grind, I mean, it's going to take a couple of minutes, but it'll get you where you need to be.
Yeah, for dem0nfr0g, it might have been better to pick up the blue T-Rex. So I agree with you that, yeah, maybe it's worth the extra time just to bump over there and check. dem0nfr0g is looking at these encounter zones, has a very good command of where they are, and is deciding to stick with the 2 sandworms instead of jumping the airship and look for blue stake.
Sometimes you just take what's good enough instead of the greatest thing possible. And good enough that you know is better than possibly better that just wastes some time. So can't fault him. But it does look like Demon is making a play towards ordeals at the same time.
Yeah, and this is this overworld manipulation that dem0nfr0g is so good at. Just going to drop a few tenths here. dem0nfr0g has a very good sense for how far he can run before resetting. We're getting a little bit of a demonstration of that now. Going to head over to ordeals, but I just have to wonder, is it going to be something good? Because we've still got a number of fetch quests on the table. We've seen the ruby, we've seen the tail, we've seen both duds. So whatever this is going to be, I guess it's going to have to be required, isn't it?
The worst case scenario is this is a white shirt, but otherwise, yes, it will be a progression style item, right? We've seen the tail, the ruby. I guess the slab would also feel kind of bad, but at least we know that it'll turn into something.
Yeah, slab.
We got a loot. We don't need to guess at it. We have a loot. It was definitely required to do ordeals, though not necessarily required right now.
Yeah, and now this is kind of funny. Syraniss has a lot of go mode items, but still no Oxyale and still no Chime. So whenever we need to get, it's gonna be before we go into Sea or Sky. So I'm gonna call Sea or Sky already has the white shirt. I think it's gonna have to be in one of those 2.
So TNT is going to lock us out of one of those dungeons, most likely. We have the floater, so there's nothing to split off of anymore. When we saw what was the crystal that turned into? We did see that. Yes, that was the tail.
The crystal turned into the tail, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because it was in the crystal was in Marsh, led us up to Batoya and got the tail. Yeah, so Marsh ended up being a quasi dud because of that.
All right, Syraniss looking like we're going to the dwarves. dem0nfr0g finding the blue dragon tile. Checking health here. It's up above 360. So it's somewhere between 360 and 600 right now. So that's not really a great grind for a solo black belt halfway through ordeals.
No, I'd be thinking about keeping the sandworms in front still as the best grind that dem0nfr0g has found, but he's going to keep checking. There could be something better, I guess. I mean, I don't know with A-sides how much better than 2 sandworms you can get, though.
If you can find a safe eye, safe Agama, obviously those are our keys. But I don't know that either party is going to find that unless it happens to be somewhere on the way to Kraken or in the cube-locked room.
Yes, or in Topher. That's always
I suppose it would be.
Little bonus. You're done. You're headed towards the end of the game, and oh, there's the eyes.
It's so frustrating. But on the plus side, if you bounce out of Topher and you're like, I could really use some levels, at least you know where to go. Especially with 2 party members that have exit.
Yeah, no doubt. So Syraniss giving us a look at this TNT. It's going to turn into the slab. Slab is going to turn into Either the Oxyale or the Chime or something leading to one of those two, I'm thinking.
Right, so we're hoping it's directly the Oxyale or the Chime because we're going to be on that side of the world and not the herb to bring us back down to Elfland.
Yeah, although, I mean, they're both playing the same seed, so at least, if you see something like that, you're not really losing time.
Right.
Syraniss taking this sentry fight. I don't like sentries. Syraniss getting it down, though, and getting rewarded with almost 3,000 experience.
I love the sentry fight. I didn't know that it was a bad fight to take. And so I started taking it early, and now I just take it every time. If I have a nuke and a fade, and I'm not too worried about resources, I think that that's a fairly quick one usually.
Yeah, well, we've all got those things that we like that aren't popular. Syraniss translating the slab, gonna chase that and probably get rewarded with something good. Looking
There it is.
Bracelets, and we've got a vanilla gold bracelet for an awful lot of money. Well, at this point, you'll take it for your white mage, sure.
Gotta imagine dem0nfr0g is taking the eye grind now. We're in a fairly safe region. It's not exactly safe because there's still going to be encounters every time we step off of the trap tile. It will advance the encounter table by 1, but we found the eye tile. This is what dem0nfr0g was looking for, hoping for. Doesn't seem punchy enough to get rid of party members, though, and we don't want to be taking this as a party grind.
Yeah, so this is where runner's skill really starts to show off. How to deal with these deep black belt grinds. I must confess that I've been struggling with this in my practice lately. It's really tough to walk that line where you need to get the party members down, but you don't want to take a wipe, and you're deep in the dungeon. What would you do? Would you go and just take a random encounter at this point?
I might try for a random encounter to kill off the mages, actually. So that way I know that I've got quite a few steps before I hit my next random encounter, and then I can take the eye tile out. If he was recording or just mentally keeping track of the pillar organization on how to get back here, it's not the worst thing in the world to go out and save halfway through it. But for the most part, I think I'm just relying on... I don't know if dem0nfr0g found the black shirt. I don't think he went into the waterfall first. But if I had item magic, that would be a good support to put on the black belt there, and then just take this grind. Syraniss is finding the bottle in Lefane, so at least, again, we're still on the same side of the world. Hoping that this fairy is going to give us a vanilla Oxyale or a Chime.
Yeah, I think we're going to get it one way or another. The fairy may continue to lead us around the world, turning in fetch quests, but it's required, so it's not going to hurt us too bad. Talking about the eye grind, though, yeah, it's interesting idea. Yeah, why not go out, get your party members down safely, and try to walk back? It might be tough to do, though, with your black belts not grinded up yet. You could end up getting stuck trying to get back there.
Yeah, this is a very big risk, but very big reward play. This investment is going to pay off if Syraniss can't find something comparable. And there's that fairy teasing us, saying, nope, go across the world again, turn in this herb, wake up a prince so that he can give you what I wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think what we're going to see now is the herb is going to turn into, my guess, the herb turns into the Oxyale and the Chime is in C somewhere. Or herb turns into adamant, adamant turns into Oxyale, and then we start forgetting our progress.
There we go.
And the randomizer gods smiling on Syraniss today, handing us that Oxyale. This is really good news because we as commentators know that since we've already found the crystal in the tail, we know that the adamant is going to be in Sky and the Chime is going to be in C, unless the Chime is in the lower 2 floors of Sky.
Chime can't be. It would be the cube that would be in the lower 2 floors of the tower. You can't even get into the tower without the Chime. So that one is locked out for us. It actually makes our jobs, or the runner's jobs, I suppose, a little bit easier here, knowing that we have to go into C to get towards that Chime. That doesn't preclude the adamant being in Sky if they really want a white shirt off of it. But that is the last bit of our key items. We've pretty much seen the game here. We're 32 minutes in. We were saying Jet Seed before. This is going to be probably a 1 hour Topher.
Yep. So you cleaned it up. You cleaned me up a little bit there. You're exactly right. The cube is the one that can be in Sky because obviously you can't get into Mirage at all with the chime. Knowing that, we're pretty sure that the chime is in Sea, the adamant is in Sky, the adamant leads to the white shirt. So they're both probably going to just get what they need to get into Sky and go. Syraniss is going to maybe take some Frosties first.
So Syraniss has no idea that this eye exists because as soon as we found the loot in Ordeals, just exited out. And so Syraniss is in this position of like, I really want to go fight carry here. I really want to just get a couple of levels. Not sure where we're going to get those levels on the black belt just yet, but might as well pick up a fire crystal while we're here.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how I feel about this play because I think that Syraniss would be better served by going to the sea now and getting levels, getting progression down there. Volcano you can do anytime, and carry can be nasty. So unless we find a grind in here, we get bailed out by a nice grind,
right?
Or we can just
Syraniss hoping for probably vanilla Agamas here at this point.
Yeah, the other thing with Fade and Nuke, certainly capable of taking down carry at this point. So it's not like it's a bad decision. I feel like it's a bit risky.
dem0nfr0g level 27. I would say the grind's picking up, but it's going to be the same one turn every time. So I fortunately doesn't seem to have anything nasty in the scripting. Exfer and cremate, but no touches, no rubs or squints or anything like that. Yeah, we'll come back in 5 minutes on dem0nfr0g's side. Syraniss, not doing any treasure checks. Already knows what that trap tile is. No idea what this trap tile is, so we're hoping that it's something comparable to the eye. Not a bad party grind tile if these things don't roll super spicy.
Yeah, there's a lot of risk here. There's 3 different enemies on the screen, so there's a lot of chances at nasty spells and skills. Also, as you can see, sea snakes tend to be HP boats and have been the case here. We do get fair bit of experience, but Syraniss is going to continue. There's one more trap tile to check. Be interesting to see if he goes for it. Looks like he's not. Just going to take out carry and keep moving.
I think I would have liked to see Syraniss take that tile one more time, maybe get to 21 on the black belt. Get those extra hits in for carry. With, as you said before, carry is kind of scary. And so if those mages go down and there go the nuke fades, like 4 hits probably not going to cut it here.
Yep, so carry is fortunately not hitting very hard. Does about 155 damage. We've already done about half of carry's health. 1 or 2 more rounds.
375-ish. Yeah, carry's not hitting too hard. We got ourselves close to 500. 620-ish. Carry should be down this round. There we go, and we've got ourselves first orb lit at 3625 on Syraniss' side.
Yeah, the Jet Seed continues to go fast, and Syraniss, with 1 orb lit, is going to head now, do some shopping at Crescent. Syraniss does have the rod, so do you think Syraniss makes the play to Earth next and just kind of clears out these early dungeons?
So I can understand the Volcano play for the trap tiles. Earth would not make sense to me. Given this party not having great running capabilities, we don't want to see the amount of encounters that we would have to see in Earth without forcing the encounter itself to run. So making the play towards on-rack, I like this a lot more. Probably just dive straight to crack inside. Now, here comes the big controversial question. Do you check the right treasure chest on the way down?
Oh, you absolutely.
The community.
Really? Because I thought that you absolutely do. Like, why wouldn't you? I mean, sure, you're taking a few extra steps, but it's on the first floor. Um, yeah, I feel like it's a no-brainer. What do you think?
You know, I did it absent-mindedly early on, and I was rewarded for it. And then I started, quote unquote, optimizing and just heading left. And then I was like, wait a second, if it's on the first floor and I've missed it, now I'm going to have to come all the way back in from on rack. And so, yeah, I'm starting to lean towards check that right chest. But it does advance the encounter table. It gives you a false sense of where you are along the way if you get bounced out. So I'm not really sure. I don't know what's going to be decided on as the most optimal play here, but Syraniss doesn't seem to be doing it unless I missed it in all that talking.
No, you didn't. And what you were saying about the encounter table, that's why I like it. Because if you do end up wiping, you know that you don't, if it was nothing, you know, you don't have to check that on your second time back in. So it's kind of like, it's almost like a free check if you end up having to come in more than one time.
Ooh, dem0nfr0g with a ton of health right now. Ton of hits. What are we at level-wise? Didn't catch it.
Well, that's 8 hits, so it's got to be, yeah, close to 42.
We're almost done with this grind. dem0nfr0g is going to just about start steamrolling this seed. We're looking at around, I would say, 40 minutes, 30 seconds at this current pace.
Okay, so Syraniss, on the other hand, is just kind of feeling out some of these early enemies. I feel like the Great Sharks have a lot of HP, so it's taken a little while to get them down. But then again, you are getting a fair bit of experience from here, so I can understand taking them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate having not found the eye tile or any other majorly relevant grind, right? Syraniss is looking at these sharks as a good source of experience, which they are, but it's a party grind. You're already dumping resources early into what ostensibly should be straight to Kraken. I don't know how I feel about the walking grind in a black belt party. Or if you're gonna have to take it, I don't know that I take it to C.
Well, that's exactly how I feel about it too, because it's kind of the Topher question. Like, you don't want to be taking levels in Topher on your way to the end game, because if you wipe, you're going to lose that progress. And Syraniss now is in that same nasty position. Now, I can understand not having found the grind and you wanted to at this point. You sort of feel like you're forced into something like this, but it can backfire if you take a wipe here.
I think it's usually done most by people who are confident that they're not going to wipe. And fortunately, Kraken 1 isn't nearly as scary as the second form is. But still a lot of potential for some nasty encounters along the way. We haven't seen ghosts, I don't think, yet. And those hit hard regardless of what you're equipped with. And we haven't really allowed snakes or lobsters to get through their full scripts, so they could still be hiding something nasty for us.
Yeah, all of that, plus Kraken's not carry. Kraken hits harder than carry does, has more HP than carry does, and is at the end of a dungeon that takes longer to get there than carry does with all those free tiles in Volcano. This is a problem. Those red Ds coming out with Blaze. We should be able to get out of this fight, but those red Ds have a lot of health. Let's see if these nukes go off.
So we get out of the encounter. Unfortunately, doesn't get any experience on the black belt for it, and a wood staff to show for it. dem0nfr0g, however, skirting by the town, going to Waterfall, going to find out that there is a robot with a rod waiting. Shouldn't have any issue really making it through any dungeon at this point. dem0nfr0g is practically in go mode minus the items.
Yeah, lobsters hitting hard as we feared. Syraniss having some trouble with the seafood party pack. Again, getting out though. Again, using that life too. Talking about where we're at, looking at the screen, seeing that Syraniss has those items, but dem0nfr0g has that black belt. Whose position do you like better?
I am heavily leaning towards dem0nfr0g at this point. The only way I see Syraniss getting out of this at the moment is if there is a key item like relatively quickly here. And first turn Brack gets rid of that Kraken before we have any chance of it hitting us. If Syraniss gets bounced out by the Fiend, we're in trouble. dem0nfr0g is gonna have an even quicker Volcano. I think not gonna be checking any of those trap tiles, not jumping back into Armory. Already made those checks. Not gonna have any trouble with any of the bosses, right? They're all gonna be practically one-turn bosses. So, and we know now, and I'm curious to see if dem0nfr0g finds this through all of the chaining, that the Sky item is not going to be required. So if dem0nfr0g just go modes into Sky, that could be the likely spot where he's going to overtake Syraniss.
So Syraniss, speaking of, has found what could have been a good grind tile. Unfortunately, those red dragons have Blaze as their first skill, so we're probably not going to see Syraniss chance that anymore. Picks up an Ice Sword, that's not going to be very useful. There is another trap tile in here. Let's see if Syraniss checks it, but we're starting to get low on resources. And Syraniss not checking the second trap tile, but checking the trap tile in this room. May not know, but look at this. We have found one of the best grinds in the game. Having already seen the eye tile, here's the Agama.
Yeah, but there is... You talked about a deep dungeon grind tile. This is not the place that I'm taking that grind. It is wildly unfortunate that now we know the presence of it, but can't do anything about it, right? You're not killing off your party members for the black belt to get up to 42, unless that was maybe one tile above a door. But it's not. We do find a ribbon and the chime, so Syraniss in go mode, if I'm not mistaken, right? We got the rod, we've got the chime and the cube, the key and the loot, yeah. Syraniss is ready to finish this game. All he's going to need are some levels.
Yeah, it's go mode, and Syraniss knows that it's go mode. So, like you said, levels are going to be the key thing. We found an Agama, but it's in a really awkward spot. I think the biggest thing is the ribbon find, and Syraniss is going to back out and not even take Kraken here. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, it is safe, but...
I feel that Syraniss realizes, you know what, I'm not going to make it through the next floor with only 10 heal pots. There's a chance that I don't beat Kraken and I lose all of that progress. So you know what, let's exit out. I would be shocked if Syraniss didn't go to Mirage right now and attempt to grind in the desert. Because you're going to be up there, you now have the chime and the cube, you know you don't have to check Sky. Or actually, Syraniss doesn't know this, right? Syraniss didn't do Marsh. So... Marsh might, no.
Syraniss
Marsh holds a tail. Yeah, Syraniss is in go mode.
Yeah, so is looking for levels, like you said, that's what Syraniss needs. Decides not to take on Kraken. Yeah, like you said, I mean, you don't want to go in there and keep ramming your head against it. Instead, why not come back and get some safety here with these metal slimes? I just think that maybe if you're not going to try going straight for Kraken, maybe it would be better to go to Sky and just go mode that, because you're going to get levels on your way to Tiamat. Tiamat's usually a little easier than Kraken. That's another possible play, right?
Yeah, definitely. And with the chance of a warm mech, maybe that helps you play catch up a little bit. I'm not sure that I'm feeling this party grind on slimes. The wizards, the mages, they're doing their job right now. They're going to do their job once we get into Topher. The Mage Staff will definitely make this a bit faster, slimes being weak to fire, but Mage Staff only casts fire too. That's not going to take him out. Even on a high roll, I don't think it's going to wind up taking out these slimes. So the Black Belt is going to be pretty reliant on at least one of those mages staying alive. And color me wrong, that Mage Staff took that slime out with a 166.
Yeah, it can, depending on how the slimes roll on HP, it can definitely work. The problem is if it low rolls, it doesn't get them. And so you're looking at likely 2 rounds in most cases before you've got the job done.
And they are hitting kind of hard here. I understand what Syraniss is doing. It's not as bad of a play as I thought it was now that I see the Mage Staff is doing what it needs to, but it would really be helpful if that were a one-turn Mage Staff every time. And it's not going to be. And we're looking at 10,000 experience Yeah, that's not the perfect grind, but it was a good place to kill off a party member.
Okay, so Demon Frog, or Syraniss, sorry, probably just feeling the lack of heal potions at this point. Gonna go back and load up on those. Get the red mage down, maybe continue to take that slime grind. It seems to be committed to that. Demon Frog, on the other hand, still needs some key items to catch up to where Syraniss is from an exploration standpoint, and it's going to get rewarded here with the herb, which is going to lead to the Oxy Ale.
And Demon Frog is definitely going to find that ribbon, definitely going to find that chime on the first dive. There is no chance that Demon Frog is checking Mermaid's side. So, sorry, Bubbles, or sorry to the fans of killing Bubbles, but the mermaids stay alive.
Yep, the mermaids don't turn into tiny bubbles today. Demon Frog picks up the Oxy Ale, gonna go straight to sea, probably gonna go mode with left side checks and pick up the items, just like you say, pick up a ribbon, pick up the chime, and very possibly pass Syraniss in the next 4.5 minutes.
And the biggest thing I think on Demon Frog's side right now is that once we go into the Sea Shrine, we're killing the fiend. We're gonna light that orb. We're not bouncing out quite like Syraniss did. So Syraniss is gonna have to come back to Onrak on top of everything that we're doing right now. And we're starting to see with a black belt comp where that kind of investment strategy comes in. If you make that investment early on in the seed, the rest of it just sort of dominoes down. But you got to find something good enough early enough.
Yeah, you do. And Syraniss, wow, just getting out of that metal slime fight with one hit left is going to go back in. Of course, it gets easier the more health that you get. So it probably won't be that tight again, but, you know, still the chance that we lose a grind here.
I'm worried about what happens on the way out without any exit casts. I don't know any of the scripts of the monsters in the Earth Cave, and so if we wind up on an encounter that we weren't expecting, could spell trouble.
Yeah, it could. I don't think we saw too much yet in Earth coming out of those early tiles, but yeah, there's some enemies that we haven't really seen much of, like the bulls, and you never know what they're going to have.
Yeah, just calling out what the chat's saying about that bad man group encounter off that monster in a box. It does feel bad, man. They are some of the hardest hitting enemies in the game, and they always seem to jump on you in a huge pile. So now we're passing the 50-minute mark. One runner with one orb lit, but that's about to change. Demon Frog probably within the next, maybe 3 minutes. Gonna get through the chest checks here. Big issue for him might be that red dragon check that we're gonna hit on the way down in the hallway. Without any ribbons yet, that blaze is gonna hit pretty hard on the mages. Black belt shouldn't have really anything to worry about though.
Yeah, and Demon Frog does have a pretty comfortable amount of hit points on those mages, having had the chance to take some pretty good fights with them as well. So I don't think it's going to be too problematic. Look at that 420 HP on the red mage. I know at least the white mage has life 2, and the red mage might as well.
I think life 2 was white locked. In second slot, perhaps? Oh no, that was level 5, right? It was life. I'm starting to confuse my steeds. I'm just looking at so many of those.
Yeah, thanks to Chanigan, a restreamer, by the way, pointing out that Life 2 was at slot 4. I think Life was on the same level, and yeah, Melee Wizard saying Life was at slot 3. So at level 5, those, I don't know how that works, but probably they're not going to be Red Mage learnable, and probably not Red Wizard learnable either. maybe the life 1 would be Red Wizard learnable. I'm thinking, yeah, perhaps with promotion you get that slot 3 in level 5. White.
I'm not sure that either party is going to, despite having the levels on the black belt already, that either one is going to be keen on promoting. It's just an extra 40 seconds out of the way, really. And then you're going to have to go and shop. And at this point, with both runners knowing that they've both taken a black belt, they're both in go mode, you have to imagine that dem0nfr0g is thinking that Syraniss saw that tile, hoping that the Syraniss didn't see the eye tile, but thinking that probably if you went through ordeals, you're walking out because you're a black belt and you're checking for tiles. But Syraniss doing go mode things very early. Unfortunately, a shot in the foot.
Yeah, oh no, I completely agree. You're not going to spend the time, even the time just to walk down to Bahamut and promote, forgetting about the fact that you've got to go back and get the life spell after that. No way you're going to do that when you've got a black belt that's big and you've got a ribbon that you can protect your white mage with. Absolutely not. Just continue on and beat the game.
Right, and you know what reses the party if you die in Topher? A reset. You're not even looking for life on a black belt party. It should be a quick enough dive that a reset is almost as quick as all that time waste. So here we are. We see Kraken. We're going to see what it does this time. Fire 2. Kind of a light little sneeze at the party. 10 hits, 641 coming out, Fade coming out with 155. We're up to almost 800 damage. Now the fast comes out. Thank you, turn order. Not. All right, this hit should do it. 20 hits, 1891. If that didn't do it, I would quit. There's no way I'm playing Randomizer if you're hitting Kraken for 2,000 and not getting away from it.
Yeah, might have been able to end that fight in a turn if it'd gone with a nuke instead of the fast there, but I can understand that, especially being used to the higher scaled refights, you often do need that those extra hits to get the job done.
So Syraniss on the way out from this grind. I don't know if Syraniss is satisfied with the grind or just wants to save it and not have to worry about it. Looks to be satisfied.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen the save as soon as you got out of Earth Cave there instead of chancing those couple of step walks to the airship. But Syraniss pulling it off. Going to go back and looks like maybe out of heal potions. No, it's going to be res in the party. So Syraniss is good with what they've got for now. dem0nfr0g, meanwhile, dem0nfr0g's in Sky and probably going to go mode this.
Taking out that Chimera without even really glancing at it. Gotta love it. Catman, Sabretooth doing nothing. Not going to take on 2 Chimeras, right? The difference between a 1 sprite battle and a 2 sprite battle, pretty big in timing, actually. Vampires do look like a potential sort of party grind, but like you don't need that right now. You don't need any experience anywhere else. dem0nfr0g is Topher on the mind.
Yeah, it's all about ending battles at this point. And if dem0nfr0g had a party that could run, might not even be wasting the hits on these single sprites that you were talking about. But with this party, sometimes your fastest way out is through a hole that you create in your unfortunate enemy's body.
He's bad, man, with first turn poison.
Yeah, poison and dazzle, not fun. We're going to have to get through potentially packs of 9 of those in second floor Topher.
And so that is where doing the hard reset really comes into play before you do your first dive, just so that you know, okay, if I'm encountering this thing, maybe I don't hard reset off if I bounce out of Topher this time.
That's interesting. I would have not hard reset because I know that I can hard reset to get something different on my second time through.
Right, but usually you're going to want a control, right? We want to know what the baseline is, so that some sort of any deviation we do to it is going to be self-caused, and we know where we are along that table. If we go in as a completely random, and I've done this a number of times also, having forgotten to hard reset, and then finding out afterwards that the hard reset was even worse. It feels real bad.
Yeah, well, fair enough. But man, I wonder if Caleb's in chat. I want to pull him in on this. I think he's the one that, or one of the ones that does not like using the hard reset at all. And I don't like hard resetting after I've had problems, because then it's kind of like, well, if there is something bad in there, it's difficult to manipulate my way out of it. Like, yeah, you could try and take an extra fight on a certain floor, but it can be troublesome. Either way, sometimes the hard reset, it'll bite you either way, I guess.
Right. Rando's gonna rando sometimes.
Yeah. So Caleb's pointing out that, or Sarasan's pointing out that Caleb's commenting on another restream. So I guess we've got multiple action. Maybe that's the Angry Canuck matches at the same time, or I forget who that is.
So dem0nfr0g getting that fast off on the black belt before the black belt swings. We got a huge hit, 1600 or so. Tiamat goes down in 1, likely going volcano into earth. Maybe stocking up on heal potions along the way. Syraniss about to finalize earth. So very interestingly, we've seen all 4 fiends at this point, but neither runner has overlapped yet.
Yeah, it has been interesting to see the differences in how these 2 runners have been taking this particular flag set. dem0nfr0g did seem to be behind from item progression for most of the match, but is now in Volcano and likely to take the orb lead on Syraniss shortly.
Yeah, Volcano is decidedly quicker dungeon than Sea Shrine is going to be. And that leaves Earth, but Earth with a 42 black belt. And really, I would like to see, I know dem0nfr0g is not a fan of that empty black belt. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Switch that character into slot 1, because you're going to get a lot of enemies running away from you. You need that highest level member in your top slot here.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna, just like that, you're gonna see sometimes the whole party running away from you, which saves you the trouble. And if you do come across something nasty, well, you've got 700 hit points up there in front to soak anything that comes your way.
Syraniss is still punching gray sharks in the nose or the eyes. I don't know. What's the weak part of a shark's body? Something around there.
Yeah, I don't know. Somehow I feel like they'd be pretty mad if you punched them in the fin.
Probably so. I don't know. I remember as a kid, maybe like if you ever get stuck on a beach and a shark tries to grab you, punch him in the something. And now I don't remember what the something is. I think it's the eyes. I think you punch a shark in the eyes.
Well, let's hope you don't get it wrong if you're ever tested.
Carry goes down in 1 hit again. So we have the orb split.
Exactly. Yeah, Carry not any trouble for dem0nfr0g with that black belt. Certainly in a bit of a more commanding position than Syraniss was, but of course Syraniss didn't have any trouble either. dem0nfr0g is going to move on and get the last orblet here. Is in go mode, has the black belt up. Yeah, we're maybe, let's say 1 minute and 1 hour and 10 minutes away. Your final time?
From Chaos down or from Topher?
Oh, I was thinking about final game time. So, because it's going to take maybe just 3-4 minutes here on Earth and then 7 in Topher.
Sure, I could see that. I'm gonna go with a 111. You boop the snoot. It's the nose, Saracen. Thank you. That's I knew it was one of those. And I mean, eyes are definitely crippling, right? But I suppose if they track you with their sense of smell, punching a shark in the nose makes sense. So I'm sorry, we're still on this whole shark thing. I gotta get off this. Let's kill some lobsters.
That's fine. I mean, this is useful information, and plus, lobsters are seafood too. Don't forget.
Lizards, however, decidedly not seafood, even though they're modeled after the Mind Flayers, which are kind of modeled after Cthulhu, which is kind of seafood, I suppose.
Well, a bit of a stretch, but we'll take it. Well, I'll tell you what is, though. It's going to be Kraken. We're about to see Syraniss take on Kraken 1, light an orb at about the same time that Demon Frog will be approaching Lich 1.
That looked like a very early rod. Was that on the right tile? I didn't. Can you use that further than one tile away?
You can. I believe it works as soon as you get in the room.
Interesting. The more you know.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where the limit is, but I think it's the same with the loot. When you enter the sort of the enclosed area around the plate, it becomes valid.
Well, the music would resonate in the room. I could see that happening, I suppose. So Syraniss is taking down Kraken there. The issue I see now, right? We have Demon Frog coming in, getting fasted, doing 16 hits, doing 20 hits. You've got Syraniss coming in doing 12. And so, yeah, it's killing Fiend 1s, but I'm not convinced that we're punching through Fiend 2 before they get a chance to do nasty nuclear zaps, bane, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think with this flag set, you can certainly get the Fiends refights rolling lower. They're not capped at 300% or anything like that, but certainly helps to have what Demon Frog's rocking.
Yeah, 32 is just a little less comfortable than a 42. 42 walking in there, I think Demon Frog is thinking, there's no chance I bounce out a Topher. I'm just walking in here and winning the game right now. And I'm hoping to do it before my opponent does. Syraniss is still going to have to kind of plan around some sort of spell casting and strategy around how we build up each of these fights, because I'm not sure that a single fast is going to do it at 32.
Yeah, and putting damage aside, the other thing to be concerned about is MDEF. So if one of those Fiends drops a Zap or a Bane, the Black Belt could go down.
Right, which brings up the case, well then, we have one ribbon here. Do you keep it on your life caster, or do you put it on the Black Belt for the fights? And I'm not so opposed to putting it on the Black Belt, but now you're crippling the Black Belt's defense. So without the higher levels and the higher health pool at that point, now we're in some really sketchy territory. Both players taking on Bad Man, except different locations, and those poisons are no joke. Fortunately, our life caster stays up. Life 2 comes out. Just using a lot of heal potions to get through it.
Yeah, the Bad Men posing a lot of problems for both runners, but both runners getting through it. Getting back to the Black Belt discussion, we do have the option of moving the gold bracelet as well as the ribbon over to the Black Belt. So there's that. I don't know. Chat's calling out to equip the Black Belt. I think I would leave the ribbon and the gold bracelet on my white mage and just hope that I don't get that bad low roll on a Bane.
See, now a black belt surviving as a result of wearing the bracelet and the ribbon means that you have a black belt for the next fight. But if the white mage is the only one surviving one of those crazy moves, I don't know that you're finishing that Fiend to res them anyway.
No, but we do have Fade, so it's not impossible.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I'm telling you there's a chance.
All right, Syraniss knowing that at 66 minutes here, I mean, if you're in go mode, you're go moding. You're not even checking greed chests on Sky 3. Rightly so. Demon Frog about to pull Lich 2. Syraniss on the Bridge of Destiny doesn't seem to have any heal pots, or at least not healing and maybe hoping for a life 2.
You know what they say, best heal potion is life 2.
I don't know who they are, but perhaps we need to have a talk.
Yeah,
There
and
it is.
Syraniss showing it off. Can save you some time and some resources too when you've got a big HP boat like that. Syraniss taking another fighter fight on the way up to his Fiend.
Those red dragons, scary and populous in Firefloor here. but we make our way to carry. Let's see what Kelly 2 has for us.
Yeah, and Demon Frog leaving the meat shield on the ground. Definitely, I would agree with that for carry. Depending on life 2 charges, though, it might be a good idea to bring that up for Kraken.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that. Definitely want someone else to try to take a punch. Although I'm not too concerned, honestly. With the way that things go and the amount of absorb that that black belt is going to have, probably could withstand the punch. I don't know if either of the mages picked up any form of invis, but maybe just throw one of those out.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing Invis or Invis 2. So Syraniss is back in Corneria. Gonna res some party members. Had actually kept that black belt down for a while, so looks like getting ready to dive Topher here.
Demon Frog healing up before the Fiend refight. Getting that res off, as you mentioned. And let's move the party around. Looks good. Everything looking solid here. We're going to fast. And we're going to wall. Interesting. I forgot that wall was so accessible. At 10 hits, almost 1100 damage, or just over 1100 damage. Not enough. Fortunately, Kraken has Ice 3. So this next hit will work. Going to try to nuke or fade. Gets the rub out of the pool. Love to see it. Kraken doing not so Kraken things this time. Moving on to Sky.
Yeah, I didn't remember that wall either, and that does improve Syraniss's position a little bit. We were talking about the challenges with MDef that you're going to encounter with the 32 black belt. Little bit more safety now, but by no means free. Syraniss at a disadvantage and behind, as Demon Frog is already onto Tiamat 2.
I'm not honestly sure what we can see out of Tiamat or Chaos other than a fluke 3 out of 256 that's going to help Syraniss, because if there's something that's going to stop a 42 black belt party that has a full party here, even at higher levels and with more resources, I'm not sure that the 32 party is going to be able to keep up with it.
Oh, don't say that. I was watching a match with the Angry Canuck, and he commentator cursed a high-level black belt party into getting banged just like that, so it can definitely happen.
Move the ribbon, I'm telling you. Get that ribbon out and white wall yourself.
Okay, so Chaos is on the screen. Take it away.
All right, so we got fast coming out. We got a fight coming out. Chaos hits, 2 hits, 268 on a completely non-evasive black belt. I'm not too worried about that. The fast comes out. We've got 14 hits, 1556. One more of those is probably going to do this. Red Mage doesn't even die after that hit. 15 hits, 1506. Chaos terminated in 2 turns. What is our official race time GG time? We have a 1:10:40 coming out of Demon Frog. Get your GGs in chat for Demon Frog.
Yes, and we're joined, I think, by Demon Frog right now. Demon Frog, good game. How do you feel?
Totally speechless. He can't even, overwhelmed with emotion right now.
Yeah, I was going to say probably dealing with some push-to-talk issues or something there. So while we wait for Demon Frog, we'll continue on with the action. Watching Syraniss. Syraniss is making it through Topher with this lower level party.
Chimera's doing Chimera things, just sort of blocking the path. We haven't seen anything really eventful, although I don't recall seeing the same encounters. So we might be on different parts of the table here. A punch, a harm 4, and a fast comes out. Fast comes out first. Lich with nuke. Yikes. Big hits right away. 15, 13, 24. Lich goes down. Syraniss moves on. Getting those heals out.
Yeah, we like to see that nuke coming out from Lich, because it's one less that the more serious Fiendry fights are going to have available to them. The Fiendry fights all share the same pool of spells and skills with each other and also with Warmech. So there are, I believe, 2 nukes and 3 nuclears that are spread amongst that group. And so if you see one coming out from Lich, you're thinking, that's great. That's one less I have to worry about on Chaos. We just got an update from dem0nfr0g. dem0nfr0g is dealing with some technical issues and will be with us momentarily.
I just recently learned also that the Fiends have, I believe it's 2 Zaps and 2 Banes. And that crack comes out, takes out the red mage right away, so we don't get that fast. There's the Bane right after the crack. That is a rude carry. But that black belt does do enough, even at level 32. I would be shocked if we don't life 2 that red mage right now.
Yeah, and that was nasty, but again, that's good. It's just fewer of those instant kill spells to worry about, and we are worried about them, especially with Syranniss's party. Yeah, you say there were 2 zaps. I thought there was only just 1.
Yeah, I thought there was 2, and I think I got zapped on a second encounter after not considering it. I could be mistaken. I do believe that it is 2 of the really nasty spells, and then 1 of each of those, like swirl and tornado and stuff.
Yeah, those come from Chaos. Chaos has got skills that sort of correspond with each of the elemental fiends. So there's an Inferno, there's a Swirl, there's a what are the other 2?
Tornado, but I can't think of the Earth one.
I don't remember either.
Earthy things. All right, so there goes Kick, the main black belt, because 12.5% chance, so why not hit that one? We've got a Fade coming out for 91 damage. We've got a Nuke coming out for 187. So now we're at about 270 damage, which wouldn't be awful, except we know that Kraken rolled high here. Nuke has another 169 Fade coming out. This is looking a little rough. Hopefully we get like an Inker. There's the rub, but needed a Pro Ring on that, or a Ribbon. One last try. Eek. Kraken 2 doing Kraken 2 things. Gatekeeping Topher. It appears that Syraniss did forfeit at this point, but a very well-run race regardless.
Yeah, and we're joined by Syraniss now, and Syraniss will go straight to you. We're still waiting for dem0nfr0g to sort out some technical... Oh, is that you, Demon?
Yep, sorry, I had Discord issues. I had to restart. Sorry about that.
Okay, well then we'll start with you being our on-screen winner of this particular round. Demon, good game to you, and I guess we'll just start off by saying, how did you feel about the forced party that you started off with?
Greg rolled it, and 50% black belt by volume is about what I expect when Greg rolls a seed. You know, we had black magic and white magic and some fists. You know, I definitely can make that work.
Okay, and Magic certainly not treating you bad with access to early, I think it was Fade, Exit, Temper. We saw Nuke at level 3. Was there anything that that you felt lacking early on?
The entire time healing magic, because if you look at the Blursings, we had a lot of minus luck. Running was awful, so I knew that most dungeon dives were going to be bad, because we're just going to not be able to get out of fights, just keep taking, getting hit and getting skills and spells. So I was hoping for heal 2, heal 3, cure 4, something to help kind of keep the party upright as we're going through dungeons.
Now, speaking of difficult dungeon dives, you made the choice at the end of your Ordeals dive to take a grind there. And we were discussing kind of the merits of a deep dungeon grind and how long do you take it and do you really risk it for the biscuit there? And you seem to go all the way with that one. So were you convinced at the start of that grind that was going to be taking you to end game?
Yeah, I felt super behind. I did Marsh and Ice early, both which were busts. The Marsh led to Crystal the Tail, so that was not needed. I did Ice because it has 5 tiles to check, and that was Ship, and that was wasted. I felt on my back heels by the 15 minutes, and I felt bad, like I was behind. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to kind of hope that Temple of Fiends is bad. I think to make to have any chance at this. So I was like, all right. When I found the eye, there's so much nuke and fade and all that junk. I was like, all right, yep. I'm gonna do the old suicide grind and pray that I get enough levels before I take the off step encounter that I can power through whatever shows up.
And then I'm curious, Syraniss, on your end, knowing that you didn't find that eye tile, what Syraniss did, by the way, Demon, is found that loot and instantly exited out of ordeals, very much with this go mode mindset. And I would agree that at that point, Syraniss pretty reasonably ahead of you because of what you mentioned with the marsh and the ice grind, or the marsh and the ice dives towards the dud items. So Syraniss, what were you feeling about your levels and the grind? Like, talk us through that a bit, because it seems that without having found one, you made some riskier dungeon dives than maybe you wanted, and I wasn't sure, for instance, in Sea Shrine, where you're going to go all the way, where you're going to back out, and like, what was your thought process around all that?
My plan was probably to go all the way, but only if I didn't find the key item. So if I had nothing to lose, I probably would have tried to brack the Kraken. But since I had got some levels and I got the key item, I didn't want to. I wanted to play it safe, so I exited out, figuring I'd come back after leveling.
Rock, you have any more questions for either of the runners?
Sure. Well, maybe I'll just continue off this. Syraniss, when we saw you go back for your level grind, you went for the metal slimes in Earth, and I think that was the best grind that you had found. Maybe you saw the single Agama somewhere, but it wasn't super handy. Did you think about checking for overworld grinds, or were you committed to the idea of, well, I know these slimes are there, I know I've got the mage stick, let's just go get some levels?
I was pretty committed to that. There was a decent run off the power cycle, so I didn't want to have to go for an overworld grind and do that long walk between each battle. I do wish I had duo ground it though, since thinking back, that's like probably my biggest regret is that I didn't duo grind it, since it was taking me 2 turns anyways.
So you would have stuck with what, the white mage and the black belt?
Either one really. The white mage or the red mage, either one would have made them blow them up in 1 turn a lot easier.
Yeah, I tried the overworld grind. I did find worms, the 1 to 2 sandworm right by where you land in ordeals, and I tried it a couple times. Like, no, this is just not going to work. This is too long in between.
Yeah, I saw
in
the
between the
standard
cycle
as well.
We were talking about that, and it seemed like that was going to be a grind that you were going to take for a while. And just as we were saying that you were going to take it for a while, you wound up walking towards ordeals, because it was definitely at that point the best grind tile I think or the best grind opportunity that I think we'd seen in the seed.
Yeah, I found that that same tile, that metal slime tile, and that got me like up to level like 11 or 12, like enough to get me comfortable moving around the map. And I was just checking a tile here. A couple of times I tried something for a little bit and like, yeah, this isn't gonna fly. Then just move on. Like if like don't just say, all right, I'm going to sit here and kind of be hard-headed about it. You try it and you kind of feel it out for a couple of fights, and if it's not going to work, then like we knew it was vanilla tiles. We knew there was an Agama somewhere. We knew there was an eye somewhere. So just move on.
So speaking about things not going to fly, certainly wasn't your party that wasn't going to fly with an early floater like that. How did you feel about getting that early floater? Are you comfortable with these early floater seeds, or is that kind of, analysis paralysis, right? I've got so many options. What do I do now? Let's start with Demon, and then I'll hit Syraniss on the same thought.
I don't mind, especially like I said, something that was kind of weighing on me the entire time was that minus luck on a party that already can't run. So we were going to get stuck in encounters quite a bit. So any overworld movement that we could use without taking fights was great. We had key, so we had a bunch of tiles we could check that way, and just kind of try to just find somewhere to get the starter levels and with low level exit and stuff. And I just kind of try to do proximity routing and spiral out from there. I'm usually pretty okay having a floater early and just starting and then stuff, lower continent and moving my way north.
And then, Sarah, the same question. Like, how do you feel about early floater seeds? Is this something that you're comfortable with, or something that you don't mind?
It's not what I was hoping for. I'll say that. I'm fairly comfortable as I can be, considering how rusty I feel. But I can't blame it on that. I'm not upset to see an early floater.
Well, that does it for my questions. Rock Solid, you got anything else that you wanted to add with this, or should we go to closing remarks?
Yeah, no, I think we've pretty much covered it. I think we're ready to roll on.
All right. Well, I suppose let's let our on-stream winner, dem0nfr0g, take it away. Closing thoughts.
I don't know what to think. I didn't think I'd make it past 64. I'm excited. I don't even know who I didn't even look at the bracket, to be honest. I have no idea who I even have the chance to go up against for round of 32. So I'll have to look at that and start planning for it. We got the same flags here before. If I happen to make it past that, then we mix it up even more for following round. GG Syraniss. Thank you guys, everybody, the comms, restream, tracking, all that for getting us on the air.
And Syraniss, thoughts?
Yep. GG Demon. Good luck going forward. And as always, thank you to everyone behind the scenes that takes care of us and makes us look good out here.
Oh, please. You guys all make yourselves look just fine. That was a great race. I want to thank you both for having such an entertaining race and providing us the opportunity to commentate on it. Thank you to my co-coms, Rocksolid84 over here. Great banter, great knowledge coming out of you. And Chanigan, Melee Wizard, thank you for the restream and for the tracking. And thank you, Randomania, for the hosting. And thank all of the viewers for coming in and spending your evening with us. Rock Solid.
Okay, I guess the final word comes to me. So just before we wrap this up, I want to give a quick shout out to the fact that we are in the middle of spring tournament. This was bracket of 64, so there's a lot of action going on. And if you're interested, we've got some more happening on right now at Speed Gaming 3. There's the Angel FM versus Rubes match. And tomorrow, there's going to be a whole pile of matches across a bunch of different channels. Right here on Randomania, there's going to be the Angry Canuck and Rojo at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So don't miss that. And there's lots more happening at 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. as well tomorrow and throughout the week. So that's going to do it for us from here from the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. We're happy you were able to join the show, and we hope you had a good time. Big shout outs to our restreamer Chanigan and our tracker Melee Wizard, and of course the channel, our Randomania 3, for allowing us the show to do the stage. So that's it for us. I've been RockSolid84. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. And until next time, keep your head up and don't forget to go fast.